Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Data Dispatch. I hope you guys are having a great day. Well, the time has finally came. Palantir Technologies has finally released their Q1 2024 earnings report, and they have came in and beat expectations. However, maybe an expectation that we were not fully anticipating was that we're seeing a little bit of a pullback in the price. We're going to be giving you guys a full breakdown, going through the full slide deck, a summary on the PLTR earnings, also talking about price action, and taking a look into what their future guidance reports was for the rest of the year and next quarter. Now, if you are a new or returning viewer, hit that like button, subscribe for daily videos, and of course, I'm not a financial advisor. I'm collecting all the data and dispatching it to you. Thank you guys so much for supporting a smaller content creator. Now, pop it up on the screen right here. We have PLTR coming in. Let's talk about some of the highlights that we do have from earnings. And that is that U.S. commercial revenue grew here up 40% year over year. And also in addition, you have commercial revenue general up 27% year over year. So on the commercial side of things, things are looking great. In terms of revenue, we're seeing that here growing 21%, closing 87 deals over right now $1 million. Now, where PLTR actually trades at the overnight hours is at $23 right now, finding support at this level. And specifically talking about PLTR and where we are seeing in terms of the major outlooks and expectations is that they came in at 8 cents, and that was versus the 8 cents that was expected, in revenue at $634 million versus the $625 million expected. So beating earnings here, doing a great job, and we're also seeing one of the big things also with the acceleration of their diving and I want to say their involvement into the private sector is that their U.S. commercial customer count grew 69% year over year. Now, we've also seen a 6th quarter of GAAP profitability and an adjusted free cash flow of $149 million. Now, specifically looking into a few more details here with PLTR, other things is that Palantir is planning to continue to work on their governmental contracts. You can see here they highlighted, of course, their partnership with Titan to bring the next generation of deep sensing capability. You also have Palantir getting incorporated with the VA and utilizing their data software right here, saying they identified over $90 million in savings for the Department of Veterans Affairs in just 6 months. Of course, we have Palantir and the Oracle partnership getting involved with AI solutions in terms of a cloud perspective. And this can really help bring exposure to PLTR in the products that they do offer. Big thing here, AIP boot camps. We've been talking about this for a while for PLTR and how many they are doing. They have completed over 615 plus organizations, over 615 AIP boot camps since the launching of it of mid last year. So they have claimed that they're doing about 5 per day. We're seeing this right here coming to fruition in this report that AIP has been incredibly successful. And in addition, one of the big things that we have seen is, of course, that 6th quarter of GAAP profitability. One of the big things that we do have on the table for PLTR is, of course, when will they be included in the S&P 500? Now, their criteria is, one of the main criteria for the S&P 500 is 4 quarters of GAAP profitability, along with some other conditions. Palantir has met these constraints. Now, it's just a matter of time on when the actual quarterly review board will decide to take some stocks out and put PLTR in. The question is just which stocks are going to come out. This will only happen at the matter of time right here. But in addition, one big thing that we are seeing, government revenue also increasing, correlating with that commercial revenue growth. Remember we talked about those numbers in the beginning of the video? Well, government revenue comes in here, revenue growth at 16% and U.S. government revenue at 12%. Great to see here that we're still seeing positives and we see commercial really starting to take the majority of the growth for PLTR. One of the best things that I do see for PLTR, if we keep continuing here, is they ended right here in 2024 of Q1 with $3 billion, that's right, in cash equivalents in U.S. T-bill securities. No, securities, not secretaries, securities, and 0 debt. What I really like about this, that means that whenever times get tough, if we see any swings in the economy where we enter more to a bear market, PLTR has a lot of resources, and we're seeing the continuation of that basically evolving. So PLTR also, with that money, has a lot of resources that they can put into further developing their software technologies. With this, what we're seeing here, why are we seeing a decrease in the price? I'm talking about here bullish things about PLTR for the last 5 minutes, but we're seeing PLTR here now right underneath and testing this $23 level of support. One of the big things is we are seeing a change in the future guidance, and that's where we saw PLTR fall about 7% right here because investors were not particularly in full agreement with what the future guidance was for the company. Now, for the next quarter that's coming up here, quarter two, their revenue is expected, Palantir reports, to fall between 649 to 653 million versus the 653 million that was expected by the analysts. And also with the full year revenue, which I think is what we're seeing more of a reaction right here, is between 2.68 billion and 2.69 billion compared to the analysts that were thinking at about 2.71 billion. With that being said, you're seeing them just come slightly below in terms of the future guidance, what the consensus estimate was from analysts for this next quarter and what for the following year is. In my opinion, this is not a bad thing for PLTR. PLTR had a very successful quarter. We just went through that whole slide deck presentation that was brought to you by them. And the fact that they now have, like I said, more profit in a single quarter than the amount of revenue generated in the entire year a little more than a decade ago, CARP is really acknowledging the growth, and we're seeing this growth right in front of our eyes in terms of the commercial side of things. And specifically, if you look here at just some of these charts right here, commercial customer count up 53% year over year, and even U.S. commercial customer count up 69% year over year. We're still seeing these very high percentage growth metrics in terms of the commercial side of things. So even if the future guidance comes down just a slightly bit here, I don't know why investors are reacting to this in a negative way. One of the major justifications probably is the valuation. Of course, Palantir Technologies trades at a high valuation. We talk about this in every single video. However, with this, I think this is a major win for PLTR. And even if we do see a little bit of a coolback, that is not necessarily a bad thing, especially for investors that are possibly wanting to get in at a lower price, possibly wanting to get in at the 20 area. If they're waiting for a pullback in PLTR, we've seen another great quarter estimate, and now the fact that they lowered expectations just slightly a little bit doesn't mean that we're seeing some large swings in the company going downhill. Palantir had a large volume here at 175 million and got up to an intraday high of $25. And even with this kind of a fall right here that we're seeing down about 8% in the after hours, finding support at the 23 is still a really important level. It'll be interesting to see what happens in terms of the global market that did have a positive day today and where Palantir is going to find its grounding. One important support level that we have talked about in the past is literally where PLTR is kind of trading at right now, right at about that 23 or the mid 22s, and also a critical reversal that was triggered here at the 20s. The only cascade effect and how this is going to happen, how this is going to play out in terms of trading and market reaction to the actual earnings, that is just going to happen with time. We can't predict what's going to happen there. All we can do is talk about the support levels and where Palantir could be testing support. However, things are looking good for PLTR. And even with this, a little bit of a pullback right here because the future guidance wasn't exactly what investors wanted to hear. Like I said, I'm kind of just brushing this off my shoulders, looking past this because this was a very bullish earnings. And I think this is more of an important factor on how Palantir came in, looking at the individual quarter, what they actually resulted versus what the actual anticipation is. Versus what is the fantasy, what is their thinking, their predictions, what are they actually resulting in here? Very, very bullish signs in terms of company growth. So great to see that for Palantir. Clap, pat on the shoulder for Palantir having a great earnings. It'll be interesting to see what happens in tomorrow's trading session. I want to know, what do you guys think about this? What do you guys think about the price action? Do you think this is kind of a little bit of an overreaction in terms of the guidance, or do you think this is justified due to the higher valuation that PLTR does carry? I really like to interpret your thoughts, incorporate that into my videos, and I do value your feedback. So thank you guys so much for commenting. I do read every single comment, even the negative ones and the positive ones. I can't thank you guys enough. Other than that, great to see here. good quarter for PLTR. We'll be keeping you guys up to date. We'll talk tomorrow to see how the market reacts in terms of an actual full trading session versus just after hours and overnight trading where volume's a little bit lower. So stay tuned. Peace out. Take care. Catch you guys later.